So Cheyanne, you have this interesting topic that you wanted to discuss. You want to kind of do the little intro to it? Or?
Of course. Okay, so hobby horsing. This is a thing. So this is a national sport and it began in Finland. And it got more traction when a woman named Selma Vilhunen, I hope I pronounced that right, she started an online forum called Hobby Horse Revolution, and it just kind of took wind. People have become more enlightened to what hobby horsing is now because of this. So essentially, the hobby horses that we used to use as kids with the stick and the horse head, this has now become like a competitive and a national sport among all age groups, not just children, young adults, and adults.
So do they have like different countries competing with
yes,
this?
yeah, oh yeah, it's like it's all over. It's quite interesting.
And you were saying it's a national sport in Finland.
Yeah, it's crazy. And so essentially, their perspective is there's no need for stables, feeding, or cleaning up after real horses. But here's the thing: there's people that own horses that are riding their hobby horse beside their real horse, which is kind of a fuck you to people that can't afford a real horse.
Yeah.
And then they say like it does help with cardio and strength and coordination and all that stuff, but essentially anything involving jumping would do that. So jumping jacks, in my opinion.
Christian, can you play the video just so we can? This is the champion, I believe, in Finland, right? This young lady here.
I'm Eva. I began hobby horsing when I was 13. Started really competitively by the time I was 17, and I'm now 47. The friendships are strong. Just always surrounded by women. I like to be surrounded by. I like women. Obviously, this is my main horse. As they say in America, my ride or die. This is grandmother. I named her after my grandmother. It is a real competitive sport, like any other sport. Say, bowling.
This is grandmother named after my grandmother.
Bowl. Some people try to understand. I try to explain to the Americans. I am the Michael Jordan of Finland as far as competitive hobby horsing goes.
All right, so we just met the Michael Jordan of
you
hobby
gotta have
horsing.
balls to compare yourself to like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, what does your sport do that's like? Basketball takes coordination, it takes strategy, it takes teamwork.
Basketball is intense. This is bullshit.
That's what I'm trying to say. 100%. But this is the best part. People like you see her wearing a helmet. They dress up, and that's part of the judging. Is like your costume, like your
posture and all that.
All of that. It's.
Are they like neighing as well too, making horse noises?
See, that's honestly, I did look that up, but I couldn't get confirmation. But I could swear in some of the YouTube videos you can hear it.
Oh my god.
So. Yeah, that's also...
Again, I think people have got too much free time on their hands. Like, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think this is actually a sport? Like...
It just looked like she was frolicking around. Like...
jumping over pieces of log. Like
yeah, she looked happy. I don't know.
Honestly, like it's a view of... Their view is it's escapism. But my thing is, like, that's taking it a bit too far. We're indulging in escapism as a society, and it's adding to delusions.
Well, I would rather have this than have families acting like that they're animals. Yeah. Right? Like, we talked about this in some of the other podcasts where we had that lady who was very distraught that a veterinarian wouldn't see her son, even though her son identified as a cat. And she was really upset about it. And we talked about how some school boards, I think in North America and also in Europe, are considering having litter boxes in bathrooms for children because their family identifies as a dog or a cat or whatever it is. So I would rather this any day of the week than a child who's 4 years old and thinks he's a cat and he shits in a litter at school.
This is how it starts, though. And then what's going to happen is you're going to have people renting horse carriage rides.
Or stables. And people
for their hobby horsing. And then I could see it even elaborating.
Well, I mean, listen, if you go to some parts of Southeast Asia or even South Asia, you've got rickshaws where a person is pulling it. I don't know what they're called.
Fair enough.
You guys know what I'm talking about?
But at least they're not delusional. They know that
they're not. Yeah, they don't think they're a horse.
And then one day they're gonna start identify themselves as a horse.
Which
I'm sure is already happening.
It can escalate.
I mean, the fact that this is happening in Finland of all places. There's very intelligent people in Finland. Finland, I believe, has the longest life expectancy for men.
They have one of the best education systems too.
Yeah, so they're very healthy people. I guess they've got just too much free time.
It feels like I feel like they're a little bored, but I feel like it's just like like the judges. The competitions are judged on their creativity, their technique, their performance. So these people undergo rigorous training like throughout the year. Like
I understand.
So next it's going to be the Olympics. They're going to start campaigning to be in the Olympics. You watch because it's like long jumping, right?
We just watched this woman jump over walk over a piece of log.
Some of them they do take high jumps though. They do some videos if you do watch they jump pretty high, but it's the fact that you're gonna do that. Why not just long jump? Like I don't. For me, it's
track and field.
You know what? For me, it's just adding to a delusion that doesn't need to be there, and that we're confirming something that should maybe be checked in.
Yeah, I think it's a sickness out of
It's weird.
If you have that much free time on your hands that you want to go get a hobby horse, name it after your grandmother, and call it grandmother, like that's really original. And then say I like women, I like women. Okay, that's what fuck that even meant, but. This is another sign of crazy to me.
Honestly, it was just so interesting. I went down a rabbit hole and I watched hours and hours.
I actually saw clips of this, but I thought that it was just like for fun.
I thought it was satire. I thought it was like a joke, but then I went into it and people are very serious. Like they do spend quite a bit of money like dressing up their horse and stuff, and it's like
dressing up their horse. It's a stick with a
they go hard. They make the eyes like realistic. Some people even go as far as like getting taxidermists to do the eyes so they look more authentic and real, and that's all judged in the competition. So it's kind of like you're getting judged for your arts and crafts skills and then like your gym like your jump like you got like to me it's just come on.
Cool. It just has Halloween vibes.
You know?
Yeah, you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if it does start showing up on sports channels around the world where they actually have like a competition. Like, you know, if you watch like tennis matches where they actually have like competitions like this.
Well, I remember back in the day, pogo sticks used to be like when they came out, they tried to, after a certain point, advocate for that to go into the Olympics because people can do it like parkour, like competitive. It's insane.
Yeah.
That, I agree, would be more authentic to go to the Olympics because you're taking more coordination, skill, strategy, all that kind of stuff.
Have you guys ever seen those slap competitions?
Oh,
Christian, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was watching that last week, and there was two guys, and the one guy, after receiving a slap, his entire face was swollen, like the side of his face, and there's like blood coming out of his mouth, and he continued. And like they can get like brain damage from this shit. Like it's crazy. And I was watching like, you know, on TSN, they were showing a competition, I think it's in Canada. And they're like in this little dingy bar, and they just put up a table with a neon sign behind them, and just two drunk guys just slapping each other out. And it's a competition.
I also see videos about girls doing that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh my God.
Like, how is that a sport? Like, I don't understand.
Depends how much you're getting paid, though. I don't know.
Even then, but what, I don't understand, what is this, what's the skill there? Who can take the bigger hit without going unconscious?
Do they train their face to be slapped?
Yeah, that's a good point, because arm wrestles, I understand. I could.
No, I think they basically just train the swing. But that's really funny if they were actually training their face to take slaps.
Or you're getting slapped, so you gotta also train your face
endurance,
muscle,
yeah.
you know?
Well, maybe they have to know, if they should clench their jaw or not at that time, or what they should be doing, their posture as well.
Maybe some people cheat, put filler in.
Could be.
Yeah, how do they judge that?
I think some of the men have beards, so they say it's supposed to kind of, lighten that up a bit. But
do they do it like by weight class, I wonder, or by like height, like how, or like arm length? Like how do you?
No, I don't.
Is it just like you when you go?
That's what it really is.
That's my I haven't seen any kind of classification of how they pick the two people.
I don't think that has to do with the weight. Maybe it does. I don't know.
Well,
some discussion about it. You got I see.
What?
Yeah, it's not left.
Or bored.
Just pushing for it.
Well, Dana White wants to make money. He doesn't give a shit, right? Because that's not mixed martial arts. I'm sorry. Slapping somebody across the face is not a skill, and being able to take a slap is not a skill, right? So, and if you have like an MMA guy doing that, he can break your jaw with one hit.
Yeah.
But when I was watching it, they have these when they're competing, Some of these people, when they're slapping the individual, they do a thing called clubbing because they firm up their hand, and that's not allowed, right? And there's a few other things you get penalized for. So it has to be an open hand, right? So some of these guys cheat, right? And that causes way more damage if you firm up your hand type of thing. So it's this is way worse, this hobby horsing thing. I can understand if it's kids doing it and it's fun for them, that's fine. But a woman who's in her 40s doing this and saying she's doing it for 30 years.
That's insane.
That's,
What's insane is I just heard about it and it's been 30 years that this has been around. Like, that's crazy.
Well, it means it's gaining traction now,
I
right?
wasn't even born.
And
She started. Oh my god.
And she's really proud as well. She's saying she's the Michael Jordan of hobby horsing. Like,
Yeah, that's
she's
proud.
done, Michael Jordan must be proud of her too.
Yeah.
He must be like, wow. Like, what's her name again? What was the lady's name? Vaughn sent something. So Michael Jordan should be saying that I'm the Vaughn sent whatever hobby horsing.